How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
And I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together, the two of us make up this little show called The Two Irish Brothers Show. I love saying that every time. Kind of gives me goosebumps a little bit. Does it give you goosebumps, Ben?
Sometimes.
All right, cool. So that means we're doing something right. All right, so as we always say, if you guys have not hit that subscribe button or the like button yet, make sure you do so. It is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that little green thing with the YouTube play button thing on it. Hit that subscribe button. You know you want to, because you're going to get good stuff from us every single time. So with that said, this is the Two Irish Brothers USFL report week number 4. Yes, that's right. The USFL is thriving. They are 4 weeks into their regular season. So first off, Ben, I got to get this off my chest. What the hell, Houston? 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, you let one slip away. At least this week against the Breakers, there's no excuse. We didn't have crap for offense. It was our defense that kept us in this one. But yeah, the Gamblers go down to the Breakers 23-16. I'm a little pissed off about it, but you know what? I'm gonna keep my cool for this report. What are you looking at me like that for? Hey, I'm a fan.
Those are two words that don't normally go together for you. So,
shut up. All right, let's get down to business. So, week 4, Ben. I know that you were on the road, so you weren't able to catch a lot of the action. But I know you did watch a little bit of the Stallions game. Is that correct?
Yep.
So,
give my Stallions some love.
So, since the Stallions are your team, what was your thought of their performance?
Okay, not as good as it's been in the past, but you know, a win's a win. So, not gonna complain too much. They found a way to win. So,
yeah, you take those victories any way that you can get them. But yeah, overall, this 4th week of the USFL schedule, every single game a 1-score game, but the one that stands out to me the most was that game on Friday night between the Stars and the Michigan Panthers, 26-25. But the most heartbreaking part of this game, the Panthers missed a 21-yard field goal at the last second that would have won them the game.
Yep.
Now, I forget I could easily look this up, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time doing it. But I'm not sure who the Michigan Panthers kicker is, but let me just say this. And I usually don't like to be a jerk towards players or coaches, but if you can't make a 21-yard field goal, then you should not be playing professional football, especially as a kicker. Now, I can understand if the kick gets blocked or something, that's kind of out of your hands, but a 21-yard field goal. I'm thinking Ace Ventura, Ray Finkel shanking a 26-yarder, you know? And just ironic, you're wearing the Dolphins jersey. The Dolphins lose. The Dolphins lose. The Dolphins lose a Super Bowl. Ray Finkel misses a 26-yard attempt. Einhorn, Finkel and Einhorn. Sorry, Ben. I just noticed the coincidence here. Oh, but with that said, that's the kind of stuff that happens. So the Stars improved to 2-2, Michigan to 1-3. The New Jersey Generals, they had a nice little win over the Pittsburgh Maulers, 21-13. Yep. New Jersey is on a roll in the North Division, 3-1.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And Pittsburgh, they just can't buy a break, can they?
No, they cannot.
So I'm trying to find
but they've been severely outscored this season. So is it they can't catch a break, or they need to up their game?
Well, and Luis Perez, I mean, he hasn't exactly been playing the way that everybody thought that he would. I mean, this recent game, 11 of 14, 102 yards, no touchdowns, but no picks. So there's a positive out of it. But I would say actually, you know what? I'll save this part for a quick little segment we have coming up. So, going to the next game here. Last night, the Tampa Bay Bandits and the Birmingham Stallions. Your Stallions pulled out a victory, like I said earlier. They are the only undefeated team remaining here in the USFL. This one I'd have to say was overall a defensive struggle.
Yes. Yep. The offenses did have a rough time in this one.
And looking at the box score for this, Jordan Teamu, our boy from the St. Louis Battlehawks, yes, from the St. Louis Battlehawks, not a bad game for him. 13-22, for a 59% completion percentage, not terrible, but could be better. 125 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, with a quarterback rating of 90.2. Very impressive. He also led the team in rushing with 34 yards and 6 attempts. And like I said, just a very big time defensive battle in this one. And it was the same way for the Stallions too. Mago, however you pronounce his name, similar stats to Teamu. And the next biggest weapon to him was CJ Marable, the running back, 55 yards and 17 carries. So yeah, it all these games came down to one score. And as much as this pains me to cover, since I just got done watching it not too long ago, Houston Gamblers go down in defeat to the New Orleans Breakers 23-16. And the story for the Gamblers on this one was lack of offense, and the story for the Breakers on this game were turnovers.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Slaughter, he threw 3 interceptions. There was also a I think it was a fumble recovery. It was a fumble recovery. Slaughter lost control of the ball. Gamblers recovered it, and all I can say is, and this is the fan in me coming out, and I'm trying so hard to be non-biased here, but Kevin Sumlin, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. When the running game was not working, he kept going back to it. So why don't you switch things up a little bit? Go focus more on the pass. I don't get that. It was just, Mark Thompson, he goes from like 127 yards or whatever it was he had to, I think like 15 yards on 20 carries or something ridiculous like that. I mean, it was bad. It was terrible. And aside from one touchdown pass that Clayton Thorson had, our offense really wasn't a whole lot of anything. The only thing that looked really good was our kicker, Nick Vogel, who was hitting field goals from 50+ yards. He kept us in the game, but overall it was our defense that kept us in this game, gave us a chance to win. But I gotta give it up to the Breakers, because if they didn't commit 4 turnovers, this game probably would have gotten ugly. Who knows? But
yeah, you never know.
But as it stands, the Gamblers are 1-3. The Breakers improved their record to 2-2. So the battles in both divisions are looking pretty tough at the moment.
Yep.
And 6 games to go for both divisions. So far it's been pretty fun watching this league play, and it was nice to see that their ratings got back up to a little over 1 million last week. So I don't think this league is going to go anywhere anytime soon, especially after a fun weekend like this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It should be here to stay, at least, for the foreseeable future. So yeah, exciting.
Now, Ben, like I said, I know you were busy. You were busy this weekend on the road, so I don't know if you got a chance to focus on any particular players, but I'm going to give you my standout players of this week, and I will start. The first on my list, Reggie Corbin for the Michigan Panthers. Even in a losing effort, he still performed pretty well. 152 yards and 12 carries and 1 touchdown. Then we have Alonzo Moore, the wide receiver from the New Jersey Generals. 3 catches, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. Travis Feeney on defense for the Tampa Bay Bandits. He had 9 tackles, 2 of them for a loss, 1 sack. And then I marked down several guys from the Gamblers, but I don't want to be, like I said, I'm trying not to be extremely biased here, so I'm going to have to pick one. Oh boy, this is tough, but I'm going to have to go with Dominic Davis, 10 tackles, 1 sack. And for the Breakers, this guy, even though he was an enemy today, he had a great game. Jordan Ellis, 104 yards on 19 carries and 1 touchdown. And just for the 2 guys that I didn't mention, but I'll give them an honorable mention. Micah Abernathy for the Gamblers, 10 tackles, 1 interception. And Will Likely for the Gambles, 7 tackles, 1 interception. But basically, you could put down the entire Gambler defense. They played extremely well and kept them in it. So, was there anyone that stood out to you, Ben? Or did you even get a chance to look at?
I only saw the Birmingham game, so, and even then, I saw part of it, not the whole thing. So I'm really not the person to ask this question to this week.
Okay. Well, then, without looking for yourself, because I'm sure you could probably find somebody else that stood out. Would you say that would you agree with those being right for the players of the week?
Yeah, totally.
Now, I will say this, and I guess I could give him an honorable mention as well. Kevin Slaughter, quarterback for the Orlando Breakers. I almost thought about putting him because he did throw for almost 400 yards and had 1 touchdown, but he did commit all 4 turnovers for the Breakers because he had 3 picks and the 1 lost fumble. So I will say, I guess that is still worthy of an honorable mention because he did throw the 1 game-winning touchdown at the end. So,
yeah.
So, all right. Well, that covers the action for this week. Now, for this episode, Ben and I wanted to do something special for you guys. Now, here's the thing. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of fans who've been watching the USFL, they've been complaining about the situation of the league this first season of the league being played in a bubble down in Birmingham with the 2 stadiums down there. But what so many people fail to realize is next season, half the teams will be playing in their respective cities, and then the 3rd season, all 8 teams will be in their respective cities.
Yeah.
So
and if there's more teams, then yes, because there could be. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talk about expansion, but we'll go with the 8 teams that we know for sure are in this league. So Ben and I decided that, hey, we're going to have a little fun here. We're going to take this time to predict where we think with the exception of the Stallions, because we know the Stallions are playing in Birmingham.
Yeah, but they'll have to pick one of the 2 stadiums that are being used in Birmingham. But yes.
Okay, all right. But so for the other 7 teams, we are going to predict where we think what stadiums that they're going to play in when they get to their respective cities. So here's a couple things we got to figure in, though. The XFL, they're coming back next season. And in addition to that, there's been a couple different rumors that we've been reading. It sounds like in the XFL, Los Angeles, New York, and Tampa Bay will no longer be franchises. And other teams,
Houston, potentially.
Yes, Houston potentially as well. And three other cities that the XFL is looking to bring in to fill those voids: Las Vegas, Orlando, and San Antonio. Now, whether they're just replacing those 3 franchises, I don't know. But we're just going with the rumors that we're hearing, and they're not fact. And we're just working with what we have to work with right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the goal is to pick stadiums that don't already host an XFL team. So with that said, Ben, if you don't mind me taking the honors here, I'd like to give my predictions on where the 7 teams outside of Birmingham will play.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's get the show on the road. So the Philadelphia Stars, and just for the record, some of these are pretty self-explanatory, right. Not really a surprise, but I do have a couple of surprises in here, and I actually did make some phone calls on these.
So do I.
Yes, but I doubt you made any phone calls, though, to do research.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
Did you? All right, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to it when it's your turn. So, like I said, I really did make a couple of phone calls. So, the Philadelphia Stars, I have them playing their games at Lincoln Financial Field where the Eagles play.
Of
Pretty
course.
Self-explanatory. There's nowhere else in Philadelphia that I mean, I thought about.
You could play in Temple Stadium.
Temple plays at Lincoln Financial as well.
Oh, do they? I didn't even
Yeah.
know. I thought they had their own stadium.
No, I'm pretty sure all their games are at Lincoln Financial Field. But I thought about putting them at Citizens. Is it Citizens Bank where the Phillies play?
That sounds right.
Okay, I thought about putting them there, but Lincoln Financial, that made the perfect sense. The Pittsburgh Maulers. This is where I have things shaken up a little bit. I have the Pittsburgh Maulers playing at PNC Park because it makes sense because you already have a couple teams playing in Heinz Field, and so I just thought with PNC Park would look good with that skyline in the background there.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be nice. Tampa Bay Bandits. I originally I was going to put them elsewhere, but with the Tampa Bay, the XFL Tampa Bay franchise leaving, I put the Bandits in. Yeah, I put the Bandits in Raymond James Stadium. The New Jersey Generals. Originally I was going to put them in Rutgers, but since the New York franchise is leaving the XFL, I put them at MetLife Stadium. The Houston Gamblers. Now this is an interesting one. I couldn't put them at the University of Houston because unless the rumors are correct, the Roughnecks already play at the University of Houston. So the Gamblers, I put them at Minute Maid Park where the Astros play. And a part of me almost thought about the Astrodome, but I don't think the Astrodome is in any condition to host sporting events. I think that still needs to be renovated. But I did call the Houston Astros at Minute Maid Park, and I did ask them if their field was capable of holding football games, if it was big enough. And they confirmed that yes, they can host football games. So I have the Gamblers playing at Minute Maid Park. Now the Orlando Breakers or the New Orleans Breakers, I was quoting the TV show Coach there for a moment. The New Orleans Breakers, I have them playing at Ullman Stadium, which is the stadium for the University of Tulane. Now, originally I thought about the Superdome, but I'm like, you know what? Ullman could be perfect for attendance. And the Michigan Panthers, last but certainly not least, another surprise here. I went with Rynerson Stadium, which is the home to the University of Eastern Michigan. So it's an outdoor stadium, and really you could put the Michigan team anywhere. If they're just going by the name of the state, you can really put them anywhere. So yeah. those are the ones that seemed like logical choices for me.
Interesting.
So now, Ben, without further ado, you give your projections.
Okay, so for Philadelphia, I picked Villanova Stadium at the University of Villanova. So there you go. Instead of Lincoln Financial, since there's no college football at this time of the year, you have the stadium all yourself. And what better way for the university to make a little bit more money than to do the USFL?
Makes sense.
Houston, go with your team. Bounce around a little bit. Houston, I did another college football stadium that's not the University of Houston. Sam Houston State at Elliott T. Bowers Stadium in Huntsville, Texas, which is just outside of Houston. I have them playing there. If the rumors are true, the Roughnecks are headed to San Antonio because of bankruptcy. And if the rumors are true, then they would most likely play in the University of Houston Stadium, which is TEDCU, I do believe.
Yeah, that sounds about
one for that. But, that's all, I don't know. So I'm assuming that the Roughnecks aren't leaving Houston. I'm assuming they're not. And going with Sam Houston State in Elliott T. Bowers Stadium. For obviously, like New Orleans, I did the Caesars Superdome, which is where the New Orleans Saints play. And obviously, it's a different time of the year, and there's no current New Orleans team in the XFL. Maybe one day, but not currently now. And then, obviously, I did Pittsburgh in Heinz Field. I was thinking about PNC like you were, but baseball's going on now, so I feel like that would be a little harder to actually schedule.
That's a good point.
Um,
That's a good point. I didn't think
you
about
know,
that.
so I feel like since Heinz Field is used for both college and pro, and college and pro play the same time year wise, and there's no XFL team, I think Heinz Field is the perfect place for that. Birmingham, obviously, one of the two stadiums, like we said, will be listed. For Michigan, the Michigan Panthers, I said the Big House, University of Michigan. I think that if you're going to put the Michigan Panthers anywhere, you're going to put them most likely in Detroit or near Detroit, which Ann Arbor's a hop, skip, and a jump from Ann Arbor. Or yeah, Detroit's a hop, skip, and jump from Ann Arbor. The only other place I could see that would be able to really sustain a franchise like the Panthers would be the Grand Rapids area, because they do have the Grand Rapids Griffins, who is the minor league affiliate for the Detroit Red Wings in hockey. So,
Okay.
And then who have I left out? Who have I left out here? Tampa Bay. Oh, and then Tampa Bay, obviously, the easiest choice is Raymond James Stadium, since both USF, South Florida, University of South Florida, and the Buccaneers use the stadium. Timing's perfect. And with the Vipers most likely flipping to Orlando, that would open up that stadium. Instead of having an XFL team you're competing with, you wouldn't have to worry about it. Now, if the Vipers stay in Tampa Bay, that's a different story, and I think then you could probably choose. I do believe Florida A&M has their own stadium. Don't quote me on that. But if they do, then you could go play there. And they're near Tampa Bay. So, yeah, that should be all the teams, right?
Did you give the Generals? The New Jersey Generals.
The New Jersey Generals. Yes, that's the one I did forget about. I picked Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. So then you're not the typical East Rutherford where the Jets and the Giants play, and then obviously like Lincoln Financial for the Eagles. So, yeah.
Well, really, for the most part, I think we were on the same page with some of these teams. Just myself, I just wanted to try to switch it up a little bit with some of the teams. Like I originally I'd thought of Rutgers myself for the Generals. I'd thought about Heinz initially for the Maulers, but it's just I just didn't want to be too typical, like where most teams would know, where you think they would go.
And I take back what I was saying about Florida A&M. Florida A&M plays in Tallahassee, so that's a big no-go for that. So we'll just nip that in the bud now before we get some comments on that.
Well, people got to watch these videos to get comments on them. Ching. So come on, people, watch these videos. I think there's some good discussion. You can offer your own opinions. Oh, this is fun regardless. So, yeah, that's what I think. And you did make a good point about this being in the spring and having to worry about the conflicting schedules with the Major League Baseball teams. Yeah. But I just go ahead. I mean, no, maybe there's a way you could work it out. Of course, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way with scheduling. But I just think
I mean, you could. The only problem with baseball, the only thing like that I was thinking about with baseball is it's not like you can go, oh well, they're playing Saturday, so then we can play Sunday, or vice versa. It's normally like if it's the Pirates, they'll play a 3-game series.
Yeah, they're 3 or 4 game series.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4-game series, or whatever. So then you don't really have that opportunity unless you were to play early and then their game was a night game in PNC Park. Then I could see that. But yeah, you're right.
I don't know if they'd like to feel beat up
when they're not there and they're in another state. Then sure, that would work out just fine. I know that's how they do the the stadium for the Giants and the Jets, since they both play in the same stadium,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it would be interesting. And I mean, I don't know size, wise and all that, because I know, you'll remember this very vividly. When Northwestern played U of I in Wrigley, they could only go one way. They couldn't go both ways because of how small the field was and all that. So,
Yeah.
I just don't know, baseball wise, which stadiums you could do and which you couldn't. I mean, obviously there's.
Well, Wrigley Field, they've made it now to where they can host football games because there's something about the dugout that is removable, and you can make it to where you can go both ways on the field. And like I said, I made the call to Minute Maid Park to see if they were capable of hosting football games. They told me yes. PNC, no, I didn't call, but
yeah, that's Houston. Houston has a really deep outfield, so that makes sense. I mean, their outfield's huge. So if you want
to it does go up. It does start to elevate in deep center field, but I think you could well fit a football field before getting to that point.
Yeah.
So So there you have it, folks. Those are our predictions for where the current 8 teams will play. Well, current 7 outside of Birmingham, that is, and I think they'll go with which stadium is it that Alabama Birmingham plays in?
That's a good question.
Legion,
UAB football. Let's look that up real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, you're right. Legion Field.
Okay, then I think the Stallions will play at the other one because if the less that UAB's field can get beat up, the better, right? I'm just guessing. I don't know. So, well, there you have it, folks. That is Ben and I's predictions on where we think all these teams are going to play when they get to their own cities outside of the Birmingham bubble, as we all know it as, and just hopefully this league can continue to grow and get better. We're seeing good football. We're seeing exciting matchups, and despite how I feel about my team, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and it's just luck of the draw that mine's undefeated. I mean, so
but be happy about it.
Believe me, I'm a Dolphins fan. It's not like, I'm not used to suffering. So
I'm a Bears fan. We've been suffering for the last few years now, so I know that too. So with that said, Ben, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. Just looking forward to some more good football, and hopefully next weekend I'll be able to catch more than just one game. So
yeah, it happens, but you work with what you have. So on that note, everyone, I'm Indy Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, God bless. Good night. And for me, go Gamblers, aces high.
Go Stallions, giddy up.